I am the head of new games at Tangelo Games. I'm going to talk to you about monetization secrets from the perspective of game design and product. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I will tell you a little bit more about our company and our product, because it will help you understand the challenges that we are facing as a company that is in the market from the early days, from 2010. And I'm going to show you what we did to face the challenges that we had. So just briefly about myself, I started back in 2010 in the industry. I wrote the code, developed slots. I worked at Playtika, at Win.com, and I founded my own social casino company targeting the Japanese market with social casino applications. And I'm over a year working at Tangelo, running the Israeli studio of Tangelo Games. At Tangelo, we have more than 100 games that we distribute mainly via two products. We have most of our revenue comes from slot machines, then bingo, and then rest of bunch of table and other casino games. This is very similar to everything that we heard today about the market. What's different about us is that we are very well distributed around the world. So not only US, Canada, Australia, but also Latin America and Europe. We are basically a combination of two companies, both founded at the early stages of the industry. So we have Ackerman from Spain and Dvir from Israel, bought by a Canadian company in Paris, and now after rebranding, we are Tangelo Games. We have our two main products, which is Mundi Juegos, Mundi Games, and Best Casino. I'm going to talk to you today about Best Casino and give you some examples of how a mature application with very, I would say, mature players can compete in the market that we have today. So, Best Casino, back in 2010, founded very similar story, at least at the beginning, to the story we heard about Playtika. Two guys in Tel Aviv, in college, playing Zynga poker, and they realized that there is a market for people that are willing to pay real money for virtual coins. They create something that is called the social slots, which is basically taking a slot machine, and you can play and see other people play at the same time. So while I'm playing, I can see on the left side in this example, two other people and their slot machine with their real spins. And this product, introduced in 2010, until today, is our most popular game. So the players that we have are people of habit. We brought them in 2011, 2012, and they're still active today. And no matter what new stuff we bring them, they always go back to the products that they played at the beginning. And when we are trying to accommodate those players, we're asking ourselves, what can we give them? How can we improve their experience in such a way that they will enjoy it and keep on spending with us? So for this, it's very important for me as a game designer to understand who are these players. I'm talking now about our VIPs. We have about 100,000 daily active users on this product, and like anywhere in the industry, very small portion of them are payers, and even less, very small exclusive group of players are what we call VIPs, people that their LTV is enough to cover all of our expenses and all of the other free players. So this is Betty. I wanted to show you her because she's celebrating with us today 4 years. She joined exactly 4 years ago. She made her first purchase relatively long time after she installed the game. But since then, she's playing every day. And no matter what kind of new content we brought her, she always goes back to the product she played at the beginning back in 2013. So Betty is relatively good example of the big segment of VIPs. She's not a top VIP, she's not 100,000 of LTV, but she's enough in her group, a good example of the people that when I'm sitting and thinking about what can we do next, what our roadmap will look like, I'm thinking about these players. Not about the free players, about these VIPs. So, how can I improve the fun for the VIPs? And this is the answers, which are the ready-made answers. All of the applications in the market are doing that. So new games, new slot machines, more close to what we see on Vegas on the floor, more close to things that are improving the social activities. We have new features and events. We did all of it. It didn't move anything for people like Betty. So when we tried to do our own version of Golden Goddess, that the guy from IGT said that this is the best, one of the best slot machines that is working for them, she tried it, but she never paid for it. She went back to the old games and paid there. We are doing events, we are adding new features, but it's all stayed the same for her. So when we came to build the roadmap, we asked, how can we take what she already does and just improve that? And I'll go back just a little bit to here. We took that disco game that you saw in the previous slide, the one that you play with 2 other players, and we just took the same game and we created a 7 players room. So now it's you with 6 other players. That made a big impact. That changed something for these players. So we asked ourselves, how can we do something new, but on the things they are already doing? And we came up with this concept, adding game mechanics to the promotions. Now, at the beginning, I thought there is a rule. When player wants to buy, you need to minimize the number of clicks and the time between when he opens the store until he makes the purchase. And we challenge this concept by saying our players, they get the login pop-up, they get pop-ups when they're running out of coins, when they're playing amount of spins, when they're losing amount of coins, when they are winning. We have all kind of actions to offer them promotions and sales. But they always close it. So if they want to make a purchase, if they came in a purpose to make a purchase, they will do. And if not, it doesn't matter. We find it very hard to change their course of regular payment habits. So I'm going to show you now 6 things that we tried. And I'll ask you, what do you think worked the best? And I'll show you what worked best for us. So let's start with the basic concept. What we did was, instead of telling them exactly what they're going to get, we took the concept of a second string bonus in a slot machine. We said, this is the price, and now you just need to pick one. Now, you'll have to ignore the price and the coin value because it's irrelevant. You'll see all kind of bunch of stuff here, just the examples, okay? So after a player clicks, there is a nice animation, and then he see what he picked. He can purchase it, He cannot, I mean, he can choose if he wants to or not. It's totally fine with us. And in this example, it's very obvious that he got the best offer. But it's not always the case. So we really created here a game of chance. A player can get the lower package or the medium package or, like in this example, the best package. And there are all kinds of rules and cooldown, but basically players like Betty, which is a VIP that log into the game multiple times a day, understand that very fast. This is not rigged, it's real. If he gets the big one, it's because he was lucky. And if he gets the small one, it's also because he was bad luck. So that's the first one we tested. And then we took the same concept and tested it with golden kitties. Again, same concept, same price, same packages, and again, player doesn't have to pay in advance. He first play, and then he can decide if he wants to purchase. Next thing we tried was taking the 3 options and making it into 16. So basically, same concept. Player choose one of the packages. He can see what he got, what he missed, and again, it's not rigged. So a player comes, and obviously here there are more options. He sees all the other options. We took this concept and tried it again with golden kitties. Next thing we did, that was the concept of taking a pick game from what all of our players know from slot machine second screen bonus, and we took it to a little different approach. So this is the lightning offer. Basically, player can purchase this offer, or he can click on boost my offer. Once he clicked on boost my offer, basically big animation, and then he gets a better offer. Again, you have to ignore the prices and the coins value, but just the example. Here, it's not random. So it's always, the boost is always the same. So if previously player could decide not to purchase now, but then log in after 2 hours, and then get a better deal, and then can decide to buy, here he will always get the same deal, as long as the promotion is on. And the last thing that we tried was taking it, I would say, it's not just taking it into a different direction. Some of you may know it's an old TV show, Press Your Luck. We took the same concept and basically made it Tap Your Luck. Again, at the beginning, we tell the player that he's going to get a package for a certain amount of money, real dollars. And then he can play. It's a semi-skill game, since player cannot really, I mean, if he's a Superman, he can get it right, but he cannot really improve from time to time. So it's not really a skill game, but it gives you the feeling that your action actually does something. And another very important thing that we did was to add the jokers. We tried to give the player in this promotion the sense that he has in all of our other games. He can lose. He can really lose. So there is a good option here, but there is also the option that he will not get this at all. And basically, after a click, he can either get the package, can decide to buy it, to purchase it, or not to purchase it, and can also get the joker. So, which one you think worked the best? Last one. Any other? The first one. Okay. Before I reveal the results, I want to say a few things, few disclaimers. First of all, this was not a classic A/B test. Since this is a promotion, we could not run it at the same time with different type of games. So we had to promote a certain game. So we did validate the results that we got on the course of time, but basically we are ignoring a lot of factors that we know are important. Days of the week, days of the month, basically everything that in the day-to-day is reflecting what's going on. Second thing, because of the nature of those things, while the dollar was always the same for a segment of players, the coin's value was different. And that's something that it depends on the luck of the player, but also on the way that it's designed. And the last thing, and this is already a result that I can share with you, we did see more payments on the days that those promotions were active. We could not track those extra payments, more than average, to those specific promotions. But we did see, and I'll show you this in a second, that we add more. I have my own theory about this. I'll tell you this in a second. So this is what worked best. And I show you this on players like Betty, VIPs. Basically, we started with the gift, less than average. The blue line that you see, this is the average of the conversion rate, okay, between people who saw the promotion and actually bought it. So the gift didn't work. We added the kitties, twice better. Then we tried the diamonds. It worked better than the previous two. Then the lightning, which was a complete disaster in terms of what we did. Then we did the 16 options of the kitty. And as you can see, for some reason, it was great. Tap Your Luck, the last one, it was as average. It was okay. I mean, it was good for us, but it was not something, it was not a game changer. And as I told you before, we can see that on the days that those promotions were active, much more payers, much more payments. So the VIPs reacted to it, and my own personal theory is that, I still cannot prove it, but I can share the thoughts and the things that I'm trying to prove right now, is that people like Betty, who didn't consider making a purchase on that day, start considering it. They did not close the pop-up. They interact with the pop-up. They interact with the promotion. And eventually, it led to more payments on that day. Not necessarily from this promotion, but from the payment pages and from the other sales that we have running on different type of actions. One more interesting thing. If I'm not looking at people like Betty, which for me are the main target audience, because they are the people who are, for me, they are the VIPs because they are the people who pays the salary of all of us. But when I'm looking at the one segment less, we call them the gold player, and I'm looking at the gold conversion, I see very similar trend, okay? The kitties, golden kitties are best for everybody, but you can see the blue line. So it worked in terms of conversion much, much, much better on these players. Now, these players are paying less amount of money, but they are much more, I would say, engaged with this kind of stuff. So, and you can see the same graph that we saw before, also for the gold segment. What we can see here, what we learned from this, it's working if we add the gameplay to the sales. But the gameplay has to be something that they are familiar with. When we try to do something like the Tap Your Luck, they was intimidated by that. It's not something that they used to. It's not something that they are enjoying on a regular basis. But the pick, which reminds them the pick bonuses, was great for them. The options. The reason why our application has only 6 options in the store is just because this is how it used to be in Zynga Poker, then in Slotomania, and I'm sure this is very similar to a lot of other competitors. But when we showed them more option, it worked. And creative matters. We did very exact same things with different creative, and we saw twice better results. And I would guess that they love kitties. So thank you very much. This is my cat over there. And I think I can understand social casino players why they love cats after living with a cat for 2 years. It's just unexpected animal. It can be cute, it can scratch you, you can win, you can lose. I know. Anyway, thank you very much.
Hi, I didn't quite pick it up, but did you have a product that had golden kitties in it already?
Again, sorry?
Did you have a game that already had the golden kitties in it?
No, we have a feature that was, when this promotion came out, was not introduced yet. So it was under the coming soon. Nobody knew what it is, and I mean, basically the only, at one of the pop-ups I think you could see that we say coming soon on the kitty, but that's it. They didn't know what it is, nothing.
Hi, quick question in regards to how long you did the test for all of your variants, and did you choose a long time frame, or was it more of gathering a minimal sample size for each of the 6 variables that you had?
So as I mentioned at the disclaimer slide, it was not a proper test in terms of all the variables were similar. We basically created those things and we gave them to our CRM and live ops to handle. And some of those were longer, some of these were shorter, and some of these we repeated it on different days. What I showed you here in the graph was the sample of the month that we've created this test. Other than the 16 kitties, all of it was pre-planned. So we knew that this is all the things that we want to test. And then we said, okay, let's try, because it was already there, the same concept with the kitties, and it was a great surprise for us. So it was not a proper test, but we did move on to a stage where now the things that we found successful for the specific segments, it's part of our routine, and we moved to optimize in terms of price and value of coins in each one of the packages, and test more gameplays that are familiar to the players from second screen bonuses.
So we've run similar promotions at times, and one of the questions we have, I mean, if you run a promotion, you always see a sales spike if it's a reasonable promotion. But have you thought about the question, I mean, what we are often concerned about is the question of, are you simply moving a purchase that was already going to occur? I mean, have you looked to see whether you've actually increased Betty's overall purchase? That's what you're actually trying to do, right? I mean, moving the sale for their purchase from Wednesday to Tuesday makes you have a nice spike, but if the graph goes right down on Wednesday, you didn't actually do anything, right? So have you looked at that question? Thoughts on that?
Yeah. What we found is that if you look at both payments and revenue over time, you see that the lows, if you look at it daily, the lows are pretty much the same. So it's the spikes that matters. So if I have, for example, let's look at a month. And we know that there are few times of the month where we have spikes. And on top of that, over the weekends, we have spikes. The lows are always the same. Now, the question is, can we do the spikes higher? And that's what we try to do. We try to look at, okay, we know we're going to have a spike here. Let's see how high we can take it. And eventually, when you sum up all the payments on a monthly basis, we got better results.
Great. Thanks, Dvir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.